morning, everybody. Not sure if you can see me yet. If you can, we got a lot going on for today. Just double checking that we're actually streaming on Facebook. Let's see. There we are. We're up. Awesome. Okay, everybody. We have a lot going on for this weekend. I'm going to wait a little bit for a couple more people to jump on here with us. But we do have a lot of severe weather potential moving in for the next couple of hours, and also pretty much the next 24 hours is where we could see quite a bit of storms moving on in. I'm also going to try and make sure I can keep up with the Facebook chat if anyone has any questions. But let's get started. So, severe risk for today. Most of central Kentucky is going to be under that slight risk. So that is a level 2 out of 5. But if we look towards the deep south, we are seeing places with high risk. That is a 5 out of 5 level severe risk. This is something we don't really see very often. It's maybe once a year, twice a year. It's pretty rare that we end up seeing this high of a risk. So in Mississippi and Alabama, big area where we could see tornado outbreaks over there. Long range tornadoes, incredibly strong tornadoes there. We still have the potential to see quite a few severe storms today. Not at that level, but it is still a good idea to stay weather aware. So we do have a wind advisory in place until tomorrow morning. If you stepped outside already today, you probably are feeling the gusty winds. We could see anywhere from 40, almost 50 mile per hour winds possible today. And as those storms roll on through, that will those gusts will be a lot stronger as well. So wind is going to be a big issue for us, those damaging wind gusts throughout the day, especially this afternoon and evening when those storms roll through. Also, we do have an aerial flood watch in place until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. This is a big chunk of central Kentucky as well. We're going to see a lot of rainfall with this system. So we're seeing, when is this going to start? So let's talk about that. Let's get into the timing of these storms, this system that we've been talking about for the past couple of days. Alrighty. So here's a look at our future track. Over the next couple of hours, we still could see a couple of showers. We're seeing quite a bit of widespread rainfall actually right now into the southeastern part of the state. Just rain right now, maybe a couple rumbles of thunder. But the big stuff is mostly going to start later on this afternoon. So it's going to be pretty widespread, and it'll be early afternoon once we get this a lot of these storms going. So you can see this cold front that's going to be approaching. So right now we're going to be dealing with all of this warm air pulling in from the south, and we'll have a little bit of a break, especially for our southern counties this afternoon as the all of those showers and storms start to lift more towards the north. And once we get that little break, then we get a little bit more instability into the atmosphere. We start to get that heating, daytime heating going on, and that creates that instability, the unstableness that really fires up severe storms when the elements are all in line. So they are all in line as we move over the next couple of hours. So by this evening, we have this cold front that'll start to move through. So another round of severe storms and strong storms will be possible. This will pretty much continue late tonight and overnight into your very early hours on Sunday. By the time you're waking up on Sunday, a lot of this will be out of the area, and we're kind of just going to deal with those lighter showers behind this cold front, and our temperatures are slowly going to be coming down as well. Now, way up to the north, behind this front, going to be dealing with the potential for some snowfall. This is mostly into the Midwest area, not for us. We are going to be too warm for that. So just still a couple of light showers as we move throughout the day on your Sunday. And then by the afternoon and evening hours, we're completely dry on your Sunday afternoon. And then we have some sunshine moving in for your Monday, St. Patrick's Day. So a lot is going to be happening in the next 24 hours. Make sure I'm getting... So talking about chances for tornadoes. Here's the thing about the tornado potential. It's going to be there. Let's look at the SPC day 1 tornado risk for us. So we are on the lower end, but there still is that possibility that we could see an isolated tornado or two with these systems. So you don't want to let your guard down. we could see that. But again, our biggest threats with this is going to be those wind gusts as well as that heavy rainfall. Speaking of, I want to touch on that. We are going to see quite a bit of rain moving in the next couple of hours. These are going to be some very high precip supercells that we're going to be dealing with. So as we move throughout the day, we could see anywhere from 3.5 to over 4 inches of rain, depending on where you're at. So this future rainfall model just actually updated a little while ago. We were seeing a lot more rainfall into the southeastern part of the state. Looks like it's kind of shifting more towards the southwestern part of the state. So a lot of areas seeing close to 2, over 3 inches in some areas like near Danville. Looks like we have a nice corridor where we could see quite a bit of rain. So flooding is going to be an issue, especially if you live near creeks and lakes. That's going to be a major issue for us. So let's take a look at your max track right now. Here's what we're dealing with currently. So nothing is severe out there. We just have widespread showers. This is mostly for the southeastern part of the state and moving out of the eastern part of the state as well. So this is pretty heavy. Let's take a look and see if we can see just how much rainfall we've gotten so far. Let's see. Just about a trace for most areas farther southeast. But that'll continue to obviously get more and more as we move throughout the afternoon. Also, we've been talking a lot about wind. Our wind gusts are going to get pretty strong, especially when those storms roll through. So throughout the morning, probably sustained winds, 15, 20 miles per hour, and then those wind gusts could reach up to 30, 40 miles per hour. Now, once these storms start to roll on through, those gusts are going to get a lot stronger. We could see closer to 40, 50 mile per hour gusts as those storms roll in, especially late tonight. So that's why we have that wind advisory in place overnight and into tomorrow. Like you can see a couple of these gusts reaching up to close to 50 miles per hour. So going to be windy, going to be gusty. Looking outside right now as well. This is downtown Lexington. So currently we just have some cloudy skies. As we move throughout the day, this is going to start to get a little bit more unstable. We'll see a little bit more of that daytime heating, which will eventually help get those storms going as we move throughout the afternoon and into your evening. Let's see some more of these comments. Make sure I'm not missing anybody's questions. Yep, Nicholasville right now, nice and quiet. Right, so again, let's look at that timing on our future track here. Lots of showers on and off throughout the morning. Once we get into the early afternoon, that's when the action starts. So a lot of this will be widespread heavy rainfall at first. It looks like a couple of these systems could become severe, but the better chance for some severe storms will be this evening. As we move into that dinner time hour, these storms start rolling on through, and this is going to be thanks to that cool front that's going to push through, giving us the chance for some really gusty showers, gusty thunderstorms, hail, heavy rainfall, lightning, thunder. Again, those isolated tornadoes also going to be a possibility on the lower end, but still something we are watching out for. So this will continue basically all night long, overnight into very early on your Sunday. So by the time you're waking up on your Sunday, a lot of the action will be out of here. So the good idea is to have your notifications on loud, have a way to get those warnings on your phone or on your TV so that if something does happen in the middle of the night, like a severe thunderstorm or possibly a tornado warning, you can wake up and get to your safe spot. You want to make sure that you have that safe spot in your head just to know for these systems that are moving through, as well as we head into the severe weather season. We're going to see a lot of this stuff popping up over the next couple of weeks. So it's a good idea to just have that plan in place already, so as we move into the spring season where a lot of the action is, we can be a little bit more prepared. So let's take a look actually at our CDUC. That's what we like to refer to in an emergency situation where we could see some of those severe thunderstorms becoming stronger and potentially even seeing those tornadoes as well. Let's see if I can try and find this for us. That's not what I wanted. Let's try and find it. Where am I? There we go. Okay. All right, CDUC. So you want to get into the center mode, or first you want to close interior doors. You want to make sure that everything is closed, no doors are open, no windows are open. D, you want to get downstairs, the lowest level of your home. If you have a basement, you want to be in the basement. If you don't have a basement, lowest level floor. If you live in an apartment complex, maybe get to know your downstairs neighbor. If you're on an upper level floor, you want to be as close to the ground as you can, the lowest level possible in your building. You want to get under something. A good idea for this is bringing maybe your comforter with you or a blanket, just to have extra protection in case any debris or anything kind of starts to move around. You don't want to get your head banged on anything. Great idea to bring something a little bit more cushiony with you. Want to be in the centermost part of your home, of your apartment, wherever you are. You want to be in the center part of the place. You kind of think of it as you want to have as many walls in between you and the storm and the outside world. So being in the center part of your home is the best. Also, keeping away from windows. That's also a big deal. These storms can get pretty powerful, could blow out a couple of those windows. You don't want to get any glass on you. So that's always a good idea. Again, that that tornado threat is on the lower end, but isolated tornadoes are still going to be possible. That tornado risk is mostly going to be way to the deep south, where they do have the potential to see long range tornadoes, very high end tornadoes, very strong ones, and that could be a tornado outbreak near Mississippi and Alabama. While we are on the lower end, it's always a good idea to be prepared and have that in mind. You'll see that our severe risk for today is a level 2 out of 5, so we're going to be under that slight risk for that severe weather moving in. Just going to check in on a couple of these comments. Yeah, so we're looking at a couple comments here. The winds are going to be worse this afternoon. Yep, they're going to get gustier. Probably already seeing that right now. Winds are already starting to howl as we have that warm front that's pulling up all of that warm air for us towards the north. Nothing in Lexington right now. Yes, we're not going to see too much action for a couple more hours. We have some time before we start to see that rainfall. So I'm going to jump back onto this future track just so those that maybe just jumped on can see what we've been talking about. Okay, so for the rest of your morning, isolated showers, maybe a couple storms trying to pop up here. I know right now some of our southeastern counties are dealing with some heavy rainfall, widespread currently, but it's just rain right now, maybe a rumble of thunder or two. The real action begins later on this afternoon, very early afternoon, probably around lunchtime, is when we're going to start to watch for this lift of storms moving in from the south and pulling up towards the north. It's going to get heavy when it comes to that rainfall, gusty as well. Could see some hail with a couple of these storms and systems. Now, once we get into your evening, and this is around dinner time, we have this front that's going to start to approach central Kentucky. So once this starts to move into our area, along it is where we'll see some pretty strong potential for those severe storms. And all of the threats we've been talking about, high winds, gusty winds, hail, heavy rainfall, the possibility of an isolated tornado or two will also be there. So this will continue into our evening hours and overnight into very early tomorrow. So once this kind of gets going in the evening, it doesn't really stop until basically tomorrow morning. And once this front moves on through, then we have a little bit of a break. We still have some shower chances throughout your Sunday, but that severe threat is going to be moving a lot more to the east, and then it's going to be more towards the Carolinas and the East Coast. So once it's out of here on Sunday, we're in the clear for a little bit. So we've got to kind of get through the next 24 hours. Yes, so will the wind die down once the thunderstorms come in? So once those blow through, once we get this front that moves on in, the winds will finally die down. So let's actually see if I can pull up a couple of our current wind gusts. Right now in Lexington, we had a 30-mile-per-hour wind gust a little bit ago, 21-mile-per-hour wind gust in Richmond. Let's take a look at we don't want wind chill. Hang on. Let's see if we can see what our sustained winds are right now. I'll find those in a minute, but our wind gusts are still pretty powerful currently, and once those storms roll through, there will be wind gusts that could be a little bit stronger. So that's why we do have that wind advisory that's going to be in place until tomorrow morning. Let's double check the time on that as well. Tomorrow morning, 2 a.m. So once those storms roll through, in the morning hours on your Sunday, it'll be pretty much over by the time you're waking up. Now, the aerial flood watch is going to be in place until your Sunday morning around 8 a.m. is what we're going to see that continuing on for. So future rainfall, that's one of the bigger threats with this. We could be dealing with quite a bit of flooding in some areas, especially if you live near creeks, rivers, lakes. We're going to get quite a bit of rainfall with these systems. At this point, looks like anywhere from 2 inches to over 4 inches, depending on where you're at. So just a couple hours ago, this model is actually showing a little bit more rainfall into the southeastern part of the state, but looks like that model is readjusting, and we kind of have a band of just really heavy rainfall moving into this corridor here from Campbellsville all the way up to Flemingsburg. So looks like we can be closer to that 3.5 to 4 inch range, or maybe even more, more into our kind of western areas. But our southern counties will still get quite a bit of rainfall, still going to be close to 2 inches. So we're going to have some flooding issues on those roads. They're going to be slick, and we, again, are going to deal with a little bit more of that flooding in those areas that have creeks, rivers, or you live near those areas. Our current temperatures right now, we're in the low 60s, a little bit farther south, upper 50s as well right now. That's because we had a little bit of that rainfall that helped cool us down a little bit. So we're going to start to warm back up over the next few hours here. And right now, 68 degrees in Lexington already. We're 68 in Frankfort. There's a lot of heat. There's a lot of moisture out there, which means there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of instability in our atmosphere. And so even though we have a little bit of cooler temperatures into our southern counties, as we move throughout the day, once we start to heat back up, we're going to have that instability once again. And that's what severe storms like. They like that instability. So once we kind of have that going, that's going to help fuel those this afternoon and into the evening. Our dew points are also in those mid-upper 50s. So again, it's humid. That helps get those storms going today. Looking at over the next few hours, those storms, again, moving in around lunch hour for the first round. Mid-70s, we're still going to get pretty warm as we move throughout the day. And you can see our high temperatures this afternoon, about 74 in Lexington, 72 near Somerset and London. So this heat is going to continue, and then it helps those storms get going this afternoon. So again, talking more about those wind gusts, because this is going to be one of the main things that we want to touch on that's going to be occurring throughout the day before these storms. I mean, we're already going to have 25 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts throughout the morning. And once we get into the afternoon, those gusts will start to kind of die out a little bit. That's because we're going to watch for those showers that will move through. It'll kind of cool us down a little bit in the afternoon. But once that front starts to move closer to central Kentucky into your early evening, those wind gusts are going to start ramping up once again. We could see 45, 50 mile per hour wind gusts. Ooh, we just saw one here a little bit near Springfield, close to 60 miles per hour is what our model is predicting possibly for a couple areas as these storms roll on in. So they're going to be gusty, and that's going to be one of the main issues. So if you can't avoid being on the roads at all, I know it's St. Patrick's Day weekend and there's a lot of fun stuff going on, but if you can, try and stay home, especially throughout these evening hours. It's can get pretty gusty out there. The rain is going to be bad. It's going to be bad on those roads, no matter where you are. And it's just a better idea to stay safe in those situations. Let's see. I'm going to check on a couple more of these comments, make sure I'm not missing any of these questions. Russell Springs, yes, everybody is pretty much included in that severe threat for today. Most of Kentucky, but all of central Kentucky is going to be under that slight risk for severe weather. So everybody needs to be prepared. Everybody needs to stay weather aware throughout the day. Let's see. Do you suggest we go ahead and move on? So, Autumn asked a great question. If you are living in a duplex, or if you are living in an apartment building and you are in an upper level and you do get a tornado warning, you want to be on the lowest level of that apartment building. So I would suggest maybe even trying to see what your apartment complex, what their protocols are. Maybe they have a safe space for residents to go if there is a tornado warning. You want to get in the centermost part of your building, the lowest part of your building, whether that be in the lobby, or maybe if you have a downstairs neighbor that you know that you can, or introduce yourself to. You just want to be on that ground level if there is a tornado warning. It's also just to have a good idea to have this plan in place as we head into severe weather season. Again, that tornado threat, we are on the lower end, but there is still that possibility. We have the isolated chance for isolated tornadoes throughout the day, and with those gusty winds, there's going to be a lot of wind damage no matter what, as we move throughout the rest of the afternoon and into the evening. Make sure what it's looking like for Bath County. Same kind of thing. We're going to see those showers and storms rolling on in this afternoon. I know a lot of people are kind of wondering what's going to be happening at their house, what's going to be happening for them. We'll go through this one more time, and then I'm going to jump off here. But here's a look at radar, or excuse me, that's 6 hours. Let's go to radar currently. Here's our current radar. So we have a lot of showers widespread. This is all to the eastern part of the state and southeast right now. So it's pretty heavy rainfall. It's going to move towards the east in the next couple of hours. But let's take a look at what we saw this morning. We saw this squall line that moved through very early this morning. A couple of tornado warnings there, not for central Kentucky, but it was over in Illinois and Indiana. Saw a lot of those severe threats there. We stayed quiet here in central Kentucky besides some of that rainfall and a couple rumbles of thunder. But already there have been tornado reports over in Mississippi. We're seeing that in Arkansas as well, Missouri, and also into Illinois, not yet in Indiana yet, but we saw already so many reports of tornadoes throughout the area just a couple hours ago. But again, we're all under the severe risk, the slight risk for central Kentucky today. And this future track, let's take a look at it one more time. So over the next few hours, we're probably going to stay a little quiet throughout the rest of your morning. Then once we get into the early afternoon, right around lunchtime, that's when everything starts to get going. We'll see those showers and storms starting to rise in from the south, and that'll move more towards the north throughout the afternoon. So widespread showers, storms, rumbles of thunder, all of that's going to be possible. A couple of severe storms may try and pop up in this cluster as we move throughout the afternoon. So stay weather aware throughout the majority of the day. Now, once we get into the evening, that's when the major threat kind of comes in. So you can see into our southern counties, get a little bit of a break in the afternoon, but with this break, it gives the atmosphere some time to kind of re-energize and become unstable, and we have the potential to get those storms rocking and rolling once we get into the evening. So once this front moves on in, that's when we'll see the potential for those stronger severe storms, gusty winds, hail, heavy rain. All of that is going to be possible with these systems tonight. So this will continue late tonight and overnight into very early on your Sunday. So you want to make sure that you have a way to get alerts, warnings. You can download the LEX 18 Storm Tracker app. It's completely free on the App Store, and you can put those settings in so that you can get those warnings from your area, and it'll go on loud. So in case you're sleeping, you'll actually be able to hear if you're under a severe thunderstorm warning or if you're under a tornado warning. So it's a good idea to have that on. Especially when we have situations like this. So again, main threats. Those winds, we have that wind advisory in place until very late tonight, and then flooding. We also have that flood warning or flood watch in place until tomorrow morning. Tornadoes are a possibility. It's on the lighter or on the not as bad edge, I should say. It's kind of more on the slight edge of us getting those isolated tornadoes. So again, you just want to stay weather aware over the next couple of hours. This morning, if you have things you got to get done, you got to get on the road, go ahead and do it now. This afternoon, things are going to get a little bit riskier out there. Widespread showers, widespread storms. Just make sure you're staying weather aware. Just be careful out there. And of course, stick with us here on LEX 18. We're going to have updates for you throughout the entire day. And also Emily will be in here later on this afternoon. So we'll be on social media. We'll be jumping on here on Facebook Live and of course live on TV as well. So just continue to stay safe and just stay weather aware.